It is, for all intents and purposes, midnight Eastern, and I'm not tired yet. This is SportsCenter. I am Scott Van Pelt. We had a great best thing I saw today, and at some point we will show it to you because it perfectly represents the Baltimore Orioles season. But we're going to blow it off to focus on the story at hand. Blocker charge. LeBron James, is it a block or a charge? Initially called charge. Now, is LeBron set? He was not in the restricted area, but it turned out it was a charge. Excuse me, a block. That allowed free throws to tie the game. And then this is the big moment. After a miss from Hill to give Cleveland the lead, J.R. Smith completely loses track of the situation. And LeBron's looking at him like, man, what happened? What happened? And, oh, that look, man. Tim Legler's getting situated. And before we get going here. Yeah. Because how many of y'all thought we were headed for an all-time bad beat? Like everybody. I did too. It didn't happen. Good. The Tristan Thompson, Draymond squabble, that's no good. And then it extends things and it obscures us for the moment from the things that matter here. LeBron James was positively brilliant. 51 points. But Tim Legler, let me start with you. Yeah. Block charge.
That's a block. I said it when it happened. I said it on a replay. I was so grateful for the rule that you can reverse a play that important on that type of call. I was actually surprised when they went to the replay center and Steve Javie backed them. And I said, it's a block. I don't get it. And then they came out and they reversed the call. To me, it's a block. He's not only sliding, he's not even squared up. His shoulders are turning. You could talk about a legitimate defending position if you want to, but he is sliding in to take away that last bit of gap that Kevin Durant had. To me, since the dawn of time, that has been a block. Guys sliding and moving, particularly their upper body at the last second, and shoulders not completely squared up to the player. So I thought it was at the time. I thought, hey, you know, they got the benefit of the doubt on the call. Then they looked at it, reversed it. It's a major call in the game, obviously, but I think they ultimately got it right.
All right, plenty more to get to, and we will get to Steve Kerr right now live at the podium as Golden State in overtime wins Game 1 by 10. Or not. Or not. If we don't have Kerr, then you and I
can tell you what he's going to say if you want. We can
go ahead.
Do that.
Steve Kerr. No, I don't need you to play the role of Kerr. When I can ask you not to tell me what J.R. Smith was thinking because you could never know. But when a situation like that happens, I don't know what you'd do as a teammate.
Yeah, basically the same reaction that LeBron had. The problem I had was after it happened. First of all, I mean, I'm saying it in a moment, watching on TV, I'm not there on the court next to a guy that just did that. Yeah. But they walk to the bench.
Like they lost.
Blank stare on their face. They're not speaking to each other, anybody in that huddle. They're just kind of looking there, and you kind of feel like Golden State's about to hit them with a haymaker when this ball goes up in the air for the last 5 minutes, and that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, I mean, you fight so hard to absorb these body blows and avoid the avalanche, and then that happens, and yeah, I mean, the look says it all.
So here's what I'm thinking. I'm not going to defend it, but here's what I think happened with J.R. Smith. He's standing there, the first one goes in. In his mind, he's playing scenarios, and he's kind of thinking like, we're going to be up one here.
Right.
And now, he's already thinking and assuming this ball's going in. Right. And then, boom, he finds it in his hands, but he didn't process what just happened. We're tied right now, and I need to turn and shoot this or get it to LeBron for a top-of-the-key three to maybe win it.
And then Golden State, in that extra 5 minutes, they did what they do. They get on a run, and then they ultimately win by 10. From Steve Kerr to Steve Javie, who joins us now, veteran official of the league. And Steve, I'm curious if you could take me through the process. One official's got a block, one's got a charge. You can review what's happening in that situation. How does it get adjudicated?
Well, Scott, two officials have whistles on the play. It does look like one is going to go with the block. The other one's going to go with the charge. But the reason why they went to replay is they felt that the restricted area had something to do with the block charge. And in the last 2 minutes of the game, you're allowed to go to the replay to see if the defender was in the restricted area. So when they go over, they look to see that the defender was not in the restricted area. But what they can do now also is if they felt the defender was not in an illegal guarding position, they can now change the call, which they did.
Do you feel that the correct call was ultimately rendered?
This is a real difficult call, I'm telling you right now, Scott, because there's so many discussions here at the replay center. They obviously changed it to a blocking foul because he was moving. What I try to look at and what I was taught before when I was refereeing, I looked at LeBron James' left foot. I know what Tim Legler said about him moving and so on. Yes, he was moving, but when somebody is firming up, in my opinion anyway, as long as that left foot was down, he can firm up. When you firm up, you're going to be moving. This is the kind of play, Scott, I think, 50-50, that some guys will say it's a charge, some guys will say it's a block. I know in real time, it's definitely a charge. And in slow motion, instant replay, it's a really, really difficult play.
Steve, thanks so much. We appreciate it.
You're welcome.
SportsCenter on the road is confidently presented by Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans.
Block charge is the hardest call in basketball. I don't care if it's an Ivy League game in December or if it's the NBA Finals. But, man, as an official, that's not a call you're going to want to have to sort out with 36 seconds left in a finals game. But they did. And ultimately, you heard Javi's definition of it. And to you, in real time, you're like, oh, that's absolutely a block.
Looked like it was to me the whole time. And then when I saw the first slow motion replay, I definitely thought it was. Because to me, as LeBron James is sliding left, if he has to come finally to a stop, Kevin Durant has an opportunity potentially to like basically get in between them. But as he keeps on sliding with that left shoulder, that's when he closes down that last little bit of space. And that's what Kevin Durant was looking at. So for me, I thought it was. Obviously, it was that type of a call that two different officials basically at the same exact time call something different. And that basically is why you put in a rule like this for an enormous moment on the biggest stage. And they went and they took a look at it a bunch of times. They said, nope, he was moving and sliding, and we didn't think he was there in time.
Yeah, and I lose track of NBA Twitter conspiracy theories of who the NBA wants to win because it switches from second to second there. I mean, who do you want to win? I think you're trying to get the call right. And the thing it's not a bummer, it's the reality of the situation, is that what happened in overtime and this become talking points, and that obliterates, in some respects, what was a phenomenal basketball.
Sensational. As good a game one as you can get in the NBA Finals. I mean, both teams played at a really high level offensively. You get best player in the league putting on a performance like that. Yeah, there's going to be some calls to talk about. Even the first possession, honestly, for Golden State in overtime, that's a clean strip by George Hill.
Yeah.
That, to me, is one where they really got jobbed, because that starts the whole overtime. Maybe now you get a steal, you get a reset after what just happened at the end of regulation. You get a bucket, you go up. Instead, Durant gets 2 free throws, you're down 2. Next possession, Clay hits a 3. So for me, that strip by George Hill, that's another one that's tough in real time, and you can't reverse that, but that's a call that the Cavaliers should have had go their way, and it didn't. And you need all those little things to happen for you, Scott, in a game one in Oracle when you have a chance or you're on the threshold of winning a game.
Yeah, I'm going to get to Stephen A. Smith in just 1 second here, but that was the point you were making to me a moment ago when we were not on air, that if you're Cleveland and you've got this opportunity to steal it, had to steal it.
Got to close it. And we're going to focus a lot on J.R. Smith, obviously, but George Hill has to make that free throw. I'll start there.
There it is.
You got to make that free throw.
You got a chance. They still would have had 4.8 to win. All right, here's Ty Lue, Cleveland coach, at the podium.